The first bite is with the eye, so even if you're not winning your locals, you can at least have that fight stick looking pretty to help offset that 0-2 sting. In this video, I'll show you how to freshen up that tired case to make it more fun and personal to you. Let's get started. First, find your stick model on Focus Attack and download the appropriate PSD file. This has the correct measurements and cut lines so you'll know exactly where to orient your images. I will be modifying a Hori Fighting Edge because that's what I have around to test parts, but the principle should work for nearly every stick out there. Stage 1 is the planning. You get to brainstorm a list of cool themes. There are so many great ideas out there and inspiration is literally everywhere. What's your favorite game, favorite character, favorite media? Go with what speaks to you. Once you've got your theme sorted, I personally like to rough some elements out first to see how they should be oriented. Remember that you will lose parts of your design where the joystick and buttons are going. It's true you can insert art into some buttons, but you're still not going to be able to keep everything. I tend to orient the main design element more toward the left, but there's no wrong way to do this. Also, if you can incorporate the buttons and the ball top into the art design, you get bonus points. Once you get your concept, it's time to execute. Here I'm just screwing around in Photoshop, moving existing images I found on Google and DeviantArt to my liking. Toss some layers in there, increase some saturation, remove some backgrounds. There we go. Perfect. But what if you don't have Photoshop or the time and skills needed to manipulate some images? Then it's time to bust out that Crayola 64 pack and a piece of poster paper and let the kids go ham. Here we've got grenade sharks, orange robots, and farting Kirby. So a fairly solid theme for someone in the FGC, really. But I hear you. You don't have kids, or the ones you do can't be trusted with crayons anymore. So you've got yourself two other options. Hire a photo collage artist or someone well versed in graphic design. In this case, I visited our Fightsticks and chose one from this curated list. The cost is usually pretty reasonable, and because they offer Fightstick services, they typically know the do's and don'ts of Fightstick designs and can easily add layouts around the buttons. When working with artists, it's best to find that sweet spot when giving direction. Firm in your concept, but open to ideas and easy to work with. I like to tell them the overall theme and crucial elements, but then let them have some say in the piece, like the layout, additional elements of design, or whatever. The best results occur when they have some freedom to create and can put their spin on your idea. In short, let them have some fun with it. In the design brief for this, I thought it would be funny to see a killer clown with a ball top utilized as the nose, and maybe some cotton candy pink in the button area. So I sent the idea and a handful of killer clown artwork samples that I liked to the artist, and a few days later, we received the digital files for this. The artist also offered a black and white version, but I went with their take on a colored one. If you need something a little more bespoke, then that leaves our final option regarding how to procure cool artwork for your stick. Hire an artist to make original commissioned art. Maybe you just can't find the appropriate images. Maybe you want to incorporate your own likeness or an oddball mashup of several of your favorite characters. This is usually the most expensive option, but it's also the most custom. In this example, I sketched up a concept and commissioned an artist I worked with on a past project. This isn't very typical for me though, and I try to work with a new artist every time. Anyway, I wanted some killer hornets at various distances from the viewer, some dripping honeycomb area for the buttons, never mind that hornets don't even make honey, and some sweet speed lines. After a few minutes in Photoshop, I mocked up this design with image placeholders I just grabbed from the web. After a few days, they kicked back this design. They stuck to my concept nearly 100%, which is a bit unusual in my experiences. It looked good though, so I changed the opacity on the wings and made some minor tweaks in Photoshop and called it good. Now we've got a couple artworks completed, but we still need to get them printed and installed. Now it's time to decide where you want to get it printed. Sometimes local shops will print for you, and sometimes I've had them refused because a licensed Capcom character appeared in the design and they have rules against that, so just be aware. For this order, I'm going through Focus Attack. I've ordered from them a lot over the years, and in the rare cases of printing errors or shipping damage, they made things right with no additional out-of-pocket money from me. Anyway, double check your work and your stick. Is there anything else we need in the cart? This is the Hori Fighting Edge we are revamping, and the first thing you may notice are these missing components. The lever and buttons have been removed from the stock black because they are also going to get an upgrade. When you're changing the art, the buttons will have to be removed anyway, so this is a good time to kick those up a notch too. Maybe add some appropriate ones to the cart along with a new ball top to really bring your new art direction home. The second thing you may notice is that the Hori Fighting Edge doesn't come with a stock acrylic cover, and in most cases those are necessary for an artwork upgrade unless you're printing directly onto the plexi. If your model of stick already has a plexi cover, all the better. But if we want art on this stick, we need to order one to help protect our print, so click that Add to Cart button again. Boom. Order. After a week or two, the package of art, plexi, and parts will arrive. The art from Focus Attack comes safely sandwiched between two sleeves of cardboard. Here's a banana for scale. These prints look great, but try and resist the urge to immediately remove them from their plastic and touch them with your dirty fingers. This stick doesn't have buttons installed at the moment, but if yours does, remove them now. If you've never done that before, take a picture of your internals before you start disconnecting stuff so that you can reference it later when you're putting it all back together. You can leave your lever, but take off the ball top and the dust washer. That's typically done by simply holding a screwdriver on the bottom of the shaft and turning the ball top. Then remove the screws holding down the plexi, if any. In the case of this stick, there's a metal piece serving the same function that needs to be removed. Once that's out of the way, lay the artwork on top, put down the plexi and buttons, and insert the screws. Following that, you can tighten on an appropriate ball top and then button everything back up. Here's a quick wiring diagram for the Hori Fighting Edge to make sure the buttons have the same function. And now it's time for the reveals. Look at how different all three of these themes look. Different artwork, different buttons, and different ball tops. It's still the same exact stick, same PCB internals and lever, but you can see how far different concepts and colors can really change the whole aesthetic. We've got the DIY option 1 with my kids' art and button choices. Bob Ross, move over. Seriously, that grenade shark is making my day. Next, we've got the digital artist commission as our option 2 with appropriate colors, and then I opted for this 45mm ball top for the nose. Beautiful. And finally, we have option 3, a pro artist executing a one-off design based on my loose concept art. All three vastly different vibes, but the exact same stick. You'll have to let me know which you preferred in the comments below. And if you're on the fence before, hopefully now you've got the confidence and enthusiasm to give your own stick a facelift. Support your locals, and I'll see you next time.